What's going on? So, anyone who has ever created anything ever knows that it's hard. Okay? For dancers, it's no different. If you're making choreography, then you have something that was nothing at some point, and then you're like, you know what? I'm going to create something. But how do you make it creative? As someone who's been choreographing for a long time, I would like to present you a specific mindset that will help you make anything creative. Not just choreography, anything.
Yeah, yeah. Too bad, too bad, too bad, too bad, too bad, too bad. She got me thinking that she too bad, too bad, too bad, too bad, too bad, too bad. She got me thinking that she.
What's going on? It's your favorite mobile dance educator, Joel Casanova. I have this phrase, or we have this phrase in my family called Ex-Overachievers. Okay, so meaning we all were at one point overachievers. And by overachievers, we mean people who are like driven and dedicated and having this like work ethic that's like on 10 at all times. The problem with that is that it was like part ownership. Like we actually wanted to do the things that we were doing. The only problem is we had this like voice in the back of our head that was like, it has to be the best, and it has to be done the first time, and it has to be the best on the first time. And if it's not 100%, then just trash it. It doesn't matter. It's trash. So that's not super healthy. And so we decided we're going to get over this. And we became ex-overachievers. The thing is, we still are awesome, I guess you could say. You know, like we are still doing all the things that we want to do. The difference now is that we're not slaves to it. Like, no, I want to do this thing. I don't have to do this thing. It's not that I should do this thing. I want to, and I want to do it well. But if it's not the most amazing, perfect thing on the very first try, it's not that big a deal. Let's calm down for 1 second. And that brings me to what I'm talking about today. I was teaching a class for adults, right? It was an open community class taught at this library that I teach at a lot of times. And I said, you have two options. I said to my students, you have two options. You can either relax and be creative, or you can be tense and stressed out about it. Those two things are mutually exclusive. You cannot have them at the same time. You cannot be completely relaxed creating something that you love and stressed and tense and, freaking out about it at the same time. You can juggle them, which is the hardest part about being human. You can juggle and be like, okay, I'm creating something, and then you switch to being tense and freaking out, and then you switch back to creating, and you switch back to, but then you're just going back and forth, and you're not allowing yourself to enter like this flow state where you're enjoying it, you're creating, and you're creating it to the best of your ability. So what's the best of your ability, right? Okay, the best of your ability, if we're going to define that for a second, is where you are creatively. Period, full stop. Stop there. Where you are. Everyone has a specific level that they're at right now. That can grow, and you can obviously develop that, but you are where you are right now. How do you apply that level of creativity, the level that you're at right now, to creating choreography? And not just creating choreography, but all the other creative things that you do in your life. You don't just relax, right? You don't sit there and Hulk smash your way into being creative. That's not how that's not how relaxing works, right? You create the habit of being relaxed. I'm going to sit down. I'm going to think about what I want to create, and I say, okay, I'm going to create X. Don't qualify it with how awesome it's going to be. Don't qualify it with the utmost. Don't qualify it with this is going to be amazing. It's going to be the most created thing of all creative things that was ever created by someone who is creative. Like that's a lot to just sit down and do. That's a lot of pressure on yourself, right? Instead, be like, I'm going to create something. And then you're slowly allowing all that stuff to roll off your shoulders. You're like, okay, you know what? Let me push it off and be like, I'm going to create something. And you're constantly doing that mental motion of pushing it off. And you're pushing it off. And you're pushing it off. And you're like, I am relaxed and I'm just going to create. However it comes out, it's going to come out. And as your body and your brain start kind of getting in line with each other, you're like, oh, I am at this level, so this is what I'm going to create at. And that is creative. You have to allow yourself to say that's creative and that's okay, right? Do you want to get higher? Absolutely. Do you want to become more creative? Absolutely. Do you want to create more? Absolutely. But why are you thinking about that right now? Like, if you're making a piece of choreography for a showcase, a fundraiser showcase, right? And you're like, I want to create something about, it's for orphans. So I'm going to make this piece of choreography about orphanhood and how this character can overturn that, right? In fact, I'm going to make a whole series. In fact, it's going to be this amazing thing that's going to change the world and revolutionize the orphan dance world. And I'm going to then create an entire business empire out of teaching orphans how to dance. None of those things are bad. None. But are you going to do it right now? Like right now? Can we focus on the fundraiser showcase? Like for a second? If that is the thing that springboards that into creating an empire of dancing orphans who are getting healing through dance, that's amazing. And don't stop that. But that has nothing to do with the art that you're making right now in this moment. So if you have the habit of pushing off and relaxing and just focusing on what you're doing right here in the moment, then you'll create it, and it could lead to a whole lot of other things. Now, if you're creating and you don't necessarily have to teach, I applaud you. Like I said in the beginning, you're creating something out of nothing. If you're teaching, instill this into your students. Because students come from a different perspective, but it's still relatable. They have something in front of them to absorb. So they're not creating something out of nothing, but it's easier for them to step away and be like, okay, that was way too hard for me. Let me learn this easier thing and work my way up until I can get that thing, or something at that level that is equivalent. When you're teaching them, I guarantee you will have at least one child at some point in your life who's going to be like, I'm not getting it immediately, right? They're like freaking out, okay? It happens all the time. Okay, whether it comes from just the artistic perspective or it comes from the personal, I guarantee it's a mix of both, but that's besides the point, right? Allow them to mess up and lean wholeheartedly into saying, I know you didn't get it. I didn't expect you to. And lead that up with, or follow that up with, that's the point of learning. Instill in them that it's a process. And then tell them, do it again. I'm not mad. I'm not angry. Do it again. Simple as that. Do it again. I did this with one of my private students. And I was like, it's okay not to get it the first time. You will get it. It's in your mind. You're just trying to like let it percolate into your body. So we're just going to keep doing it till you get it. No pressure. If you mess up, that's fine. Keep going. And at first he freaked out. And then as I kept playing it, we played it maybe 6 times. By the 6th time, he got it perfectly. Perfectly. Heavy quotations on perfectly, right? But as he did it, he realized, oh, if I just don't put the pressure on myself to get it the first time, then I'll get it. Marvelous concept, right? That everyone forgets as soon as it comes to creativity and learning something, right? So instill that relaxation. Learn it first, because you have to go first. You have to know it first before you give it. And once you have it, give it to your students if you're an instructor. Allow them to relax and teach them. You don't tell them this whole story because that would waste all of class time, but tell them, it's okay, just relax, keep going. And then they'll start realizing it through osmosis. They're like, oh, I just need to relax and try it again. And eventually, which has happened to me in my own classes, I have students say, can we try that one more time? I think I can get it better this time. And there's no malice against themselves. There's no punch yourself in the face and be like, do it again. I'm such trash. I'm going to do it again even though I'm probably still going to be trash. And it's like, wow, love yourself. Okay? So, in every creative thing that you do, build the habit of relaxation. And I guarantee you will not only grow in creativity, but you will grow in the relaxation you have and the calmness and the serenity that comes with the creativity that you already have. Thanks for watching this video. If you know someone who needs to take a chillaxative for a second when it comes to creativity, send them this video. Don't even explain. Just send it to them with 0 words. Just text them the link and be like, watch it. Don't even explain what it is. Not only that, but I, as BeatHunter Dance, as Joel Casanova, do coaching and consultations when it comes to creating choreography. So I can coach you through this if you need an outside voice to help you chillax. So you can get me at BeatHunterDance.com, or you can just throw something in the comments. I will respond to everything. And keep creating. But relax.